Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Volden,
We don't
I
need
have to do
that
this
anyway.
quick. I have to do this quickly because I have to go run around and shit. Okay, Volden. So, escalating factors, right? So, more fires, more carbon released into the atmosphere, heating up the atmosphere, causing more and more droughts, which in turn prevents certain rainfall patterns from happening in forests and all that kind of stuff, which then again affects a greater majority of the planet and all that kind of stuff, right? You can agree or disagree with that. What can you say?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so if that keeps occurring, what happens then? This is just your understanding of how it works. What happens then?
We handle the situations as they approach us, and we find mitigating approaches towards solving those issues while maintaining our progression to solve the bigger issues that are caused by us,
Okay,
which we are.
so yet again, they're saying we need drastic measures to fix the problem now before it becomes an ever escalating issue, right? No matter what year they want to, no,
Kind of that is something you could say, but that's like a weird way to approach it. Like what I'm saying is like you're right. We are like impacting the world in a
then
negative way.
stop fighting the fact that I'm right and just agree. That's the
With
problem I'm
that.
trying to get across to your mind.
No. What do you want me to agree with? That we're gonna be fucked? That we can't solve this as an issue? Is that
We
what you're
won't
saying?
have. Okay, look, I'm saying we won't have time to fix it.
I disagree. We have plenty of time.
We can definitely
Because again,
disagree on that.
because again, we're gonna be here all throughout it. Like the only things that like I'm suggesting that are possible. We could have nuclear holocaust in which like could be
Talk.
devastating and
Okay,
make us.
we're talking
Hold
about
on, okay,
climate. Forget all that stuff.
let me say this real quick.
Okay.
Real quick, just Holocaust things. We could have meteorite impact that could like devastate us, kill us. Maybe a few of us survive. All that stuff aside, what of our environmental impact are we doing? And you're right. Like we're like if we continue progressing with carbon emissions, it will be shorter and we'll like have more floods more often, sooner in time. I agree with all that. I'm suggesting that we know this shit and that we're slowing that progression as much as we can and finding solutions as we're slowing that progression to the point where like
Vol-
before we hit the wall we will have a solution because the wall is like 100 years away currently.
it's not okay, Volden. It's not 100 years away. Yet again, your idea, you have it meant stuck in your head that it's 100 years away. 100 years away is to the point that the problem is going to be at your doorstep, right? That's the
If
hundred
we don't
years
do anything,
away.
if we don't do anything about it, you keep forgetting that we are doing something about it for the next
Volden,
100 years. We will be
Volden.
doing things that takes that 20 years. Like if it's 20 years currently, in 10 years it would be like 15 years from now. In 20 years from now, it could be 10 years from now. You see my
Well,
point? We could be pushing it further and further back and moving the goalpost as we progress to the point where we can get it progressively ahead of us to the point where now it's like we're building and going backwards. That's how we work. That's
okay,
how we
so
do
if
everything.
if I tell you next year there's going to be massive amounts of wildfires and massive amounts of droughts and massive amounts of issues, like I'm going to say just massive amounts. Let's say to the point that it is undeniable that we've fucked up and it's too late. If that happens next year, are you going to say fuck it, I was wrong, and to be arguing with you on this matter?
No, because there could be a global flood and you would be still wrong. Like literally there would have to be like that's what I'm saying. Like apart from like you're suggesting what like a bunch of floods. Like I'm agreeing with all this. See, we're gonna have more hurricanes. We're gonna have more floods. We're gonna have more forest fires. We're gonna have more uh, uh, not deforestation, but more droughts in particular. We will have deforestation in particular parts, and then
What
other parts
what
we won't.
what what do you think? Wait, Volden. What do you think all of that means?
It means our environment is changing. Like, did you
Do
know
do, do
that
you
like
think that's
Africa used to be green? Did you know that like Antarctica used to be a jungle? Like the environment changes, dude. We're impacting the environment. You are right.
What?
We know how to interact and live in vastly different environments in such a way where, like, if it's snowing outside globally, we'll
You
still have procedures in
okay?
place.
Okay, okay, yet again, you're not seeing it as an entirety, as an enclosed system. You're seeing it as just tiny little patches of issues happening on the planet, which is really odd. When we basically came to the conclusion that our Earth is an enclosed system, and that system relies on other systems, right? So for you to just see it as tiny little issues all over the planet is weird.
You
Pardon?
don't know how terrariums work, my friend. Closed systems change, and they can have vastly different environments that ebb and flow with the environment. The whole planet can freeze over, for example, because it's done it before, and plants still exist. Like the environment can be impacted to the point where humans are like dead, sure, and plants in particular are still going to be here. Like I don't understand what, well, like the doomsday scenario you're saying is required for us to no longer be able to mitigate the harms of us being fucking up, which I
Okay,
agree with.
so then are
We're fucking
you
up.
okay?
It's like
So
now, and it's wrong. Like
all
if we're
right,
gonna
so
hear,
so my question to you is it okay if 2 billion people die in the course of the next 100 years? Is that okay in your book?
no,
Okay, then what are you saying?
I'm saying that if it happens, that would be a great travesty that we should be smart enough to avoid, and we are. We would just need to be able to convince others to also do that, and we are.
Okay,
Also,
so I'm trying to get at if 2 billion people are going to die in the next 100 years, and it's going to take 100 years for us to get to a solution. Is that reasonable to you?
no,
Okay, so then wouldn't we want to try and prevent the deaths at a sooner
yeah,
rate by doing drastic measures to fix the problem now, like the scientists are saying?
it kills. Not if it kills 2 billion people now to do it.
How is it going to kill 2 billion people now?
I'm just saying that, like, if your goal is to not kill 2 billion people over 100 years, and it requires you to prevent that from happening, to kill 2 billion people now, like, you see my point? Like,
What?
let's say, for example, the fix to this problem is like, oh, well, we have people starving. Well, let's kill half the people in the planet so that, like, you see the whole like Thanos process of things. Like maybe we just are overpopulated and shit like that. Too many resources, too thinly spread apart. Like, say you did that, like, you would kill so many people to the point where it wouldn't be beneficial to prevent the thing from happening in the first place. It would be much more beneficial to say, wait, we don't have a solution yet. Oh shit, somebody died. Let's mitigate it. Let's protect that. Let's learn from that. How did they die? Let's fix that. Make it so it doesn't happen again. It happens less often. Eventually, like, those issues become less and less to the point where we don't have them as often. Like, imagine how many mothers died in childbirth at one point compared to today. Like, I don't see how this isn't like something very easily represented in our culture. Like, we advance our technologies, our social health, everything to the point we're benefited from that, and we're living longer because of it. Like, I don't get your points. I don't. You seem like there's like this, like, you want every, like you want to solve the issues, but you don't think you can. But like, I don't know. Like, I think that they can be solved, and because
I
of
think
that,
they can be solved too.
okay.
You're just taking the long routes, whereas I say let's just cut to the chase. That's what I'm trying to point out. You
You're,
have this
but you
belief.
cannot guarantee. Like in your
What?
scenario, let's say you kill 2 billion people to save 2 billion later. Let's say you kill 1 billion people now to save what you think will be 2 billion deaths going in the future. Let's say you do. You have no idea if that would be the case if you didn't kill 1 billion people. And the only thing you've now done in this system is kill 1 billion people. You've already gone under your goal that you've set for yourself, and
But
you haven't even started. In
but
100 years, what if another 1 billion people died because of your decision? Now you're at
what?
2 billion people that you've killed because of your action that you chose. It's so much better to have an
Then
action.
your argument is let's not do anything and let's
No, let's do
wait.
things that mitigate harm, learn from those issues, adapt it so that we don't harm each other in that specific way any further. That's exactly what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're learning from the mistakes of our past. Enough people are like, hey, hold up a second. That's not really a good thing that we're doing. And then we're learning from that, suggesting reform, getting it implemented in some manner as soon as possible, and then going forward.
And
That's
I
how
just
regulation
and I asked you the question
is.
yet again, how much time is that going to take and is it going to be within the time frame to actually make a difference? And
Yes,
my answer I want from you is either yes or no,
I just said yes.
then you're delusional.
How is that delusional? I just gave you way more examples than you've ever given me I've supported my point of view.
Vo-
There's so many means of examples in such a way that like you in ways that you agree and you just like roll off like oh well that's a good point but like
you're
doesn't matter.
you're you're
It's weird.
talking about changing one cog at a time when the whole entire system is rotting. That's what I'm trying to get at, Volden. My thing is the system is literally crumbling right
That's
now,
your problem.
and
That's your
I'm
problem. You
saying
think
we
the carcass that needs to die, and you're wrong. Like we are the carcass, dude. That if your system is broken and corrupt, if policy is true, and we have to throw the bathwater out, then that's all humanity. And in which case, you become a nihilist. Like your system would kill everyone, not save anyone. Like like you are already your own enemy in that system. It is much more beneficial for any reason that you can give yourself to consider that the options that the future is possible in such a way that we are going to be here no matter what. We're going to be
but there's
stuck
no
with
argument about
choices.
humans surviving. There's no argument there.
No. I'm arguing that we're going to thrive.
What?
Not survive. We're going to thrive.
Okay, the only way we're gonna thrive is if we start taking cloned animals, reintroducing them into the system after we've figured out a way to manage the system so that way we don't keep fucking it up. That's the only way it's gonna happen. And we're gonna have to
Oh,
use
cool.
genetically modified trees and all these kinds of things to actually
Oh, cool.
start
We have
solving the
technology for
problem.
all that. That's awesome. If that's the solution, that's a lot easier than what I thought.
Bolden, we will be so far from that because you are talking about taking
Years
genetically
away.
modified things and introducing it into a system, a closed system that is dependent on such fucking complicated
We did it 2 years
bounces.
ago.
What?
We already did that 2 years ago. We released a mosquito. Maybe it was a year ago. We released
Yes, the
mosquitoes into the
mosquitoes,
environment.
yada yada yada, and I believe that also caused an
Modification,
issue
like that thing you just said that we are like so super far away from doing that we just did like a year ago.
because there's
That,
we don't okay, Volden, we don't know what the ramifications of those actions may have done.
but we're gonna learn about them and then find mitigatable ways of preventing them going forward.
We're talking about okay, Volden. We're talking about complicated shit. We're talking about complicated system. If you
We figured out the
Volden,
atmospheric chemical compositions of planets surrounding a star thousands of light years away.
Volden,
We figured that out. You don't think we figured out other things?
Volden. As much as that is easy to fucking try and figure out by using the spectrum
It's
of
easy.
light, it's
That was easy.
to understand the spectrum of light that goes through the atmosphere of a planet from distant stars. That's how they figure out what the atmosphere of distant planets are like. Volden, that means nothing compared to the system that we're currently living in. You could be saying we'll introduce a biogenetically created plant life into the environment, and all of a sudden it creates a virus that literally wipes out the rest of the vegetation. That could be the complicated things that could occur. All these things, or it could actually pollute and kill another system. These are all random things that could occur if you start just introducing random shit. This is what I'm trying to explain to you, Volden. All the
You don't
solutions
know
that
what you're
you think
talking
make
about.
what?
Bad start. I'm sorry, but like, I'm sorry. You don't know what you're talking about. We've been genetically modifying fruits and vegetables since like for the last 100 years, to the point where we've gone through and had like different strains of fruits and vegetables go extinct, and we've learned from that. The Gros Michel and the Cavendish. Do you know these bananas? Do you know what the difference between those two bananas are?
I don't recall the specifics of the difference, but yeah, I know what those bananas are. Yeah.
Learning about genetic modification to the point where it's like something that we can predict certain outcomes more so than we could before. And all the ones you're suggesting, that yes, you're right, we could have a virus, we could have this, the prevalence of that being and occurring are extremely low, and we would already have methods to mitigate from them because we know exactly the type of issues that they would represent. We don't know
But
what kind, but we know what would be possible through that interaction. And
no, no,
yes, yes, we
no.
do. We know plenty
Volden,
about
Volden.
reinvention.
There is a reason. Okay, Volden. There is a reason why
There's
you,
not going to be a wormhole that opens up by introducing a strain of tomatoes,
Volden.
right?
There is
You
a
know that
reason, Volden.
ability, right?
Volden.
Do
There's
we
a
agree with
reason
that?
why. There's a
Do we agree with
reason
that?
why.
Do we agree with that?
Volden, listen to the goddamn shit that I'm trying to explain to you. There's a reason why countries do not allow certain plants to be brought in. There's a reason why they don't allow certain animals to be brought in. There's a reason for all these things, Volden.
It's because we know that you're right, and that's because we've learned from what genetic modification does. It's because the very point
No!
that disputes what you're saying is the reason we don't do that in the first place.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. We got so off topic. I have to stop now. Volden, I have to go do my rounds and stuff. We got off topic, and we will continue this discussion in another video. Volden, it was a pleasure. You want to say anything before I close off?
I'm sorry if I said you were wrong too many times. I am so flabbergasted at your nihilistic approach towards
It's not
humanity.
nihilistic, Volden. It's
If you want the world to be a better place, you have to imagine it could be.
no, 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 no. Imagining it could be is all well and dandy, but it doesn't do anything to fix the problem. Imagining
That's where
is
you
one
start.
thing.
That's
Doing
where you're
the
starting.
work.
You're not starting trying to. You
What?
want, if you want the world not to burn, then you got to pretend it's not going to burn. Even
What?
if you think
No,
the world's going to burn in 20 years.
no. That's not how it. That's not how reality works, Volden. I love you, but
If
that's
I
not how
thought the world
reality
was
works.
ending, if I thought the world was ending, I wouldn't want to change it. I wouldn't think I would be able to. You think the world
What?
is ending, and you don't think you can change it. I don't think the world is ending, and I think I can change what you think is possible.
Oh
I
my
think it's not
goodness.
as much of an issue. You can go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Holy
Anyways,
moly, man.
it was a pleasure, guys. We will have this discussion again, and I will have you again, Volden.